Number one, cars aren't assets. Don't come in with that mentality. A common misconception is that vehicles aren't assets. They are. An asset is a useful or valuable thing. And, if you think about it, when is the last time your home took you to visit family or, of course, took you on a vacation hotspot? To say, houses are assets and cars are liabilities, it sounds great as some kind of accounting school principle, but it's quite stupid in real life. Part of defining value is time, and you'll have the vehicle paid off long before you pay off a home. Besides, home values work like the price of the home plus the interest, so about $250,000 around you, maybe about $400,000 by the time you're done paying for it. So roughly, you can use a mortgage calculator to figure it out exactly. Plus inflation. People like to say, I paid $100,000 for this 30 years ago, and now it's worth $200,000. Well, you sound like you're underwater, because 30 years of inflation kind of makes a difference. Also, eventually you can catch up with the vehicle's value. It won't depreciate forever per se. A 7-year-old SUV in good condition with a regular amount of miles will always garner a certain amount of money. That will be worth more than you currently own, which is nothing at that point. And of course, despite popular opinion, some vehicles do increase in value. So the point of that is to say, come at purchasing a car like any other asset or something of value that you're attaining. Don't be dismissive. You're making a long-term commitment if you're financing a vehicle, and to have this idea that it's just wasting money is the wrong mentality to come at it with. So remember, it does bring value of convenience, the opportunities it affords. There's a lot of things, and you bring those values that are important to you, and those will help you direct you to the vehicle that best suits your needs and the price you should pay. Number two, seen this a lot in the business, don't shop for other vehicles while you're at the dealership. I know it's very tempting, but it's like being on a date and kind of looking at other guys, girls, or whatever suits your fancy while you're on the date. And you think that it's sending the car salesman or dealership a message. I can go somewhere else and get it cheaper. But all it does is tells the management that you're actually in a buying mode. If you're shopping and you're really you're looking to buy sooner rather than later, they're going to keep you there, and chances are, since you've made up your mind, that's all they need to know. The rest of it is immaterial, because they know that your husband and that your brother or whoever's sitting there scrolling away probably didn't find a vehicle cheaper. And the reason is, you have to know if it's the same trim, and you have to know if it has the same package. What about the miles? What about ancillary costs that the dealership adds? You don't necessarily know all of those things. This is a very incestuous business. So the dealership that you're probably going to, the salesman you're working with, the manager you're working with, probably knows those guys, probably done work with those guys. We have the same training, same manufacturers, meetings and sessions. They contact each other about how they're doing on sales, what vehicles are working. And when most dealerships price a car, most of them are priced off of auctions nowadays. How fast a car moves, what colors move, what price points move. There's a lot of things that kind of go into it. So if you go somewhere and they give you $3,000 less for your trade, you're actually losing that $1,000 that you went over there to gain. If they add a bunch of fees at the end that you weren't expecting, but you got the price $1,000 cheaper, and you leave out of there $2,000 heavier, because they know you came in, you just say, hey, I left the other place, I saw you had it cheaper or whatever else. They got you. You're done. You're going to go out there paying more because, one, you're not going to deal with the shame of going back and telling these people they're right. And two, you're in a buying mode, and you're tired now. You spent 3 hours at this place, you've been here an hour and a half, and you're finally sitting down. You're just going to take it. You figure it's not going to get any better. So remember, have an idea of what features are important in the vehicle to you when you go, and what the price of a vehicle with those features should cost. Not what you think they should cost, but what they do cost. Number 3, don't set a fixed dollar amount. Of course, it's great to have a budget. You don't want to go in expecting to spend this amount and spend double that amount. You may have to. Some instances it does happen because you have to focus on what your actual goal is for the vehicle. You're making a long-term investment and feeling like you got the vehicle for this static number, but it ultimately is not something you're really happy with or doesn't meet all your needs. Nobody won but the dealership. They have a sale, and there's no correlation between the price of a car and how much money they make. I've seen dealerships lose money on $60,000 vehicles and make 20% on $10,000 vehicles. So you're not really sticking it to them or whatever else. Only thing that's going to happen is you're going to leave there with buyer's remorse. And generally, these bad habits are why people hate car shopping, because they go in every 5 or 6 years trying to outgain people who do this 60, 70 hours a week. You have to have the right strategies. And so the trick is to get all the features you want without breaking the bank. Spending an additional $1,000 on a car over 6 years is only $17 a month. That's a big deal. $17 a month between the car that exactly answers your needs versus sticking to your hard static number. I would ask customers, okay, 25,000, how many euros is that? How many yen is that? How many pounds is that? How many Turkish liras is that? You don't know. It's a round number in American dollars. Don't go by round numbers. If you were taking a trip out of town and the trip is 130 miles and your car gets 30 miles to the gallon, that's what you do the math on. Don't go to the pump and pump $10 because it's a nice round number, because you're not going to make it. So you could better be watching the number of gallons that are going into the tank, because the benefit is you're going to make the trip without running out of gas, rather than coming in with a hard number to the gas station saying, I'm not buying any more than $10. That's all I'm willing to pay to drive from Florida to California. And I'll say, okay. They're going to have your $10 and you're going to be broke down halfway across the state of Florida. So remember, you have to go in with the right mentality. Part of that right mentality is why I set up Vehicle Deal Planner. Because, of course, it's like having your own personal attorney or surgeon, because it's more specific to your needs. You can't know every make, every model, every trim, every package, and it has to have some value to you for you not to spend your days and time on the internet, talking to friends and family, going from place to place, because, of course, the salesman there, it's his job to help you, but it is also his job to move the vehicles for his employer. And so, of course, he has to find the best place that those two interests meet. As opposed to hiring somebody independently to search for a vehicle for you, whose sole purpose is only to meet your needs. So that when you go into the dealership, you're completely armed with the information that they have the vehicle with the features that you're looking for the price that you're looking to spend. So give us some consideration. That's Vehicle Deal Planner.